In the shadowed cells of Alcatraz, where the fog of San Francisco Bay cloaks all hope, three of America's most notorious criminals once paced. Al Capone, the Chicago mob kingpin, whose empire of crime crumbled behind these bars. George Machine Gun Kelly, the swaggering bank robber whose trigger finger found no escape. And James Whitey Bulger, the ruthless Boston gangster whose icy stare chilled even the guards. These men, legends of lawlessness, were caged on The Rock, a prison designed to break the unbreakable, setting the stage for an island steeped in infamy. Rising from the mist of San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz Island stands as a monument to America's complex past. Known as The Rock, this small, windswept outcrop has served as a military fortress, a notorious federal penitentiary, and a symbol of resistance. Today, it draws over 1.2 million visitors annually as a National Historic Landmark, its stark walls whispering tales of defiance, ingenuity, and survival. But in 2025, Alcatraz is once again at the center of a national conversation, its future hanging in the balance as bold new proposals and cutting-edge preservation efforts collide. Why has this isolated island returned to the headlines? In a surprising announcement on Truth Social in 2025, President Donald Trump proposed rebuilding and reopening Alcatraz as a federal prison, calling it a symbol of law, order, and justice. Trump suggested the move as a response to federal judges advocating for due process for deported migrants. Though he later described it as just an idea, the proposal sparked immediate debate. The U.S. Bureau of Prisons, led by Director William K. Marshall III, quickly pledged to explore all avenues to implement the plan, citing Alcatraz's rich history and its potential to once again embody law enforcement's mission. Yet voices like former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, whose district includes Alcatraz, dismissed the idea as not serious, arguing that the island's value lies in its role as a historic site and tourist destination. As the debate rages, Alcatraz's storied past offers context for its enduring fascination. Long before it housed America's most infamous criminals, Alcatraz was a military stronghold. In the 1850s, the U.S. Army transformed the island into a fortress, equipping it with heavy artillery to protect San Francisco Bay from foreign invasion. Its strategic position at the bay's entrance made it ideal for defense. During the Civil War, Alcatraz played a critical role, guarding the city against Confederate raiders and holding spies in its basement cells, including those suspected of plotting against the Union. By the early 20th century, the island's role shifted. The military began using Alcatraz as a prison, detaining soldiers and deserters. In 1933, the U.S. Army handed the island over to the Department of Justice, marking the beginning of its most infamous chapter. On August 11, 1934, Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary opened its doors as a maximum security, minimum privilege facility, a place designed to house the nation's most dangerous and unruly inmates. Surrounded by the Pacific's cold, churning currents, escape was considered impossible. The prison's stark conditions were meant to send a message to criminals and reassure a public reeling from the crime waves of the 1920s and 30s. Alcatraz was no ordinary prison. Inmates had only 4 guaranteed rights: food, clothing, shelter, and medical care. Everything else, access to books, family visits, or even art supplies, had to be earned through good behavior. The prison's isolation and austerity earned it the nickname The Rock, a fitting moniker for a place meant to crush the spirits of men like Al Capone. The notorious Chicago mobster, George Machine Gun Kelly, a ruthless bank robber, and James Whitey Bulger, a feared gangster. Despite its infamy, Alcatraz housed only about 260 to 275 prisoners at a time, less than 1% of the federal prison population. Most were sent there for refusing to follow rules at other facilities or for being deemed high escape risks. Among the prison's most enigmatic figures was Robert Stroud, better known as the Birdman of Alcatraz. Originally imprisoned for manslaughter in 1909, Stroud's life took a darker turn when he killed a prison guard, earning a life sentence in solitary confinement at Leavenworth Penitentiary. There, he discovered a passion for ornithology, raising canaries and publishing respected books on bird diseases. But Stroud's ingenuity wasn't limited to science. He once used his research equipment to build a still for homemade alcohol. Transferred to Alcatraz in 1942, he was forbidden from keeping birds, yet his legend as the Birdman endured. Stroud left Alcatraz in 1959 and died 4 years later, his story immortalized in books and film. Alcatraz's reputation as an inescapable fortress was tested 14 times over its 29 years, with 36 men attempting to break free. Officially, none succeeded in reaching the mainland alive. The most audacious attempt came in June 1962, when Frank Morris and brothers John and Clarence Anglin orchestrated a plan so elaborate it became the stuff of legend. Over months, they used spoons and a makeshift drill, crafted from a stolen vacuum cleaner motor, to chip away at the ventilation ducts behind their cells. They established a secret workshop atop their cell block, crafting dummy heads from plaster, soap, and real human hair to fool night guards. Using over 50 stolen raincoats, they built a raft and life vests, sealing the materials with heat from steam pipes. On the night of their escape, they placed the dummies in their beds, slipped through the ducts, and climbed to the prison roof via a ventilator shaft they'd cut open and temporarily secured with a soap bolt. From there, they descended to the water's edge and launched their raft. They were never seen again. The FBI's investigation revealed the trio's ingenious plan, but concluded they likely drowned in the bay's frigid, turbulent waters. No bodies were recovered, and occasional sightings, some as far away as South America, have kept the case open for decades. The mystery of their fate continues to captivate, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and Hollywood portrayals. Did they defy the odds and survive, or did the Bay claim them as its own? By 1963, Alcatraz's days as a prison were numbered. The salty sea air had corroded its walls, and maintenance costs were staggering, nearly 3 times higher than any other federal prison. Repairs were estimated at $3 million to $5 million, excluding daily expenses. On March 21, 1963, the facility closed, its cells falling silent. For years, the island sat largely unused, a relic of a bygone era. Then in November 1969, a group of Native American activists, led by the group Indians of All Tribes, occupied Alcatraz for 19 months. Claiming the island under the Treaty of Fort Laramie, they protested federal policies and demanded recognition of Native rights. Their occupation transformed Alcatraz into a global symbol of indigenous resistance, leaving an indelible mark on its legacy. Since 1972, Alcatraz has been managed by the National Park Service, welcoming tourists eager to explore its haunting cell blocks and storied past. Designated a National Historic Landmark in 1986, it hosts approximately 1.2 million visitors each year. But preserving this iconic site is no small feat. Rising sea levels, seismic risks, and natural deterioration threaten its aging structures. In 2023, technologist Pete Kelsey and his team embarked on a groundbreaking mission to future-proof Alcatraz. Armed with LiDAR technology, drones, and a robotic dog named Spot, they spent over a year mapping every inch of the island, from the Civil War-era guardhouse to the notorious D-Block, where the prison's most dangerous inmates were once held. Kelsey's project was a blend of science and adventure. His team gained access to areas long sealed off due to safety concerns, including spaces contaminated with lead and asbestos. Using advanced tools like the Flyability Helios 3 drone and Boston Dynamics Spot, they uncovered hidden history such as the 1857 Sallyport, a fortified entrance concealed by a century-old building. They also produced detailed scans of the 1962 escape route, tracing the path Morris and the Anglin brothers took through ducts, pipes, and rooftops to the water's edge. For Kelsey, the project was an Indiana Jones kind of moment, a chance to explore a site that has been a fortress, a prison, and a protest ground. The data from Kelsey's work is a game changer. His 3D models allow the National Park Service to monitor Alcatraz deterioration, predict the impacts of climate change, and simulate scenarios like a 7.0 magnitude earthquake. The scans can also be aged to guide preservation efforts, ensuring limited funding is used effectively. Beyond science, the data has artistic potential. Filmmakers could use it to recreate Alcatraz with green screens, while virtual tourism could bring the island's cell blocks to those unable to visit. As Kelsey put it, this project just might be my Mona Lisa. Yet even as Kelsey's work secures Alcatraz's past, its future remains uncertain. President Trump's proposal to revive the prison has reignited debates about the island's purpose. What should Alcatraz become in the years ahead? A revitalized prison? A preserved historic site? Or something entirely new? Share your vision in the comments below and tell us which of the Rock's stories, be it the Birdman, the Great Escape, or the Native Occupation, resonates with you most. If this journey through Alcatraz's past and future gripped you, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell for more stories that uncover the hidden corners of history. Let's keep the conversation going.